Hi guys, I'm Jessica by day. Welcome to my channel. This is your first time seeing this face. Don't make it your last. Please stick around and go nowhere. Now I know why you are here and why you click this video. You want to know kind of questions you ask your man or your spouse before you get into marriage. Let me tell you, marriage is not something you just think about. It's fantasy, and then you watch your Cinderella is doing more harm than good. Everybody wants to be a princess. Everybody wants to be a Barbie doll in marriage. Let me tell you, marriage is not like that. It's not what you think. It's not how you imagine it because it's gonna give you a lot of kicks. Do you understand? Like bass boost. But it's better to get your mind prepared for for the good things and also for the bad things. Yes, some people are like, oh, my marriage is not going to experience anything bad. Let me tell you, if the Bible even said that marriage also come with tribulations. Yes, it happened with Adam and Eve. So people who are perfect, how much more people like us that are imperfect? It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. But let's just not go too much into it and let's just dive into questions you need to ask your spouse. Some people ask questions like, what's your favorite food? What's your favorite color? Do you live alone? Yeah, normal questions that we always used to when growing up. I used to hear, I asked him, what's your kind of woman? What's your kind of this? What the kind of food you like? Even me when I was little, I was like, those are lame questions. Lame questions. But let me tell you questions you need to ask your spouse before getting into marriage. Number one question, know their stand when it comes to marriage. Yes. Is marriage going to be a forever thing? Or is it going to be whenever you do something annoying, I'm going to run, I'm going to separate, I'm going to ask for divorce and all of that? That's the question you need to ask. Number two, if you as a woman, you be the one washing the man's clothes. Yes, all these things sound simple and easy. That we'll sort it out when we get married. Sort it out now. Who will do the laundry? Will you be washing my clothes? If I'm sick, will you help me out? Or will you seek somebody to come and help me? These kind of questions. They say it's little things that used to scatter the home. Yes. And this thing is so simple. It's so simple and so little. So know where you stand. Who is to do the laundry? So women are not okay with washing clothes with their hands. They'll be like, okay, if there's washing machine, okay, no wala, we'll wash it with washing machine. But still, some women don't like washing clothes. So, who is going to do clothes washing? Who is going to also do the cooking? So, women don't like cooking. So, men like their food fresh. Some people don't like their food not fresh. Some people can eat food that they have worn 5 times, 10 times. Like people like me now, I love eating fresh food. My husband is kind of person that eats food that can be warmed 3 to 10 times. Yes. And I tend to waste food a lot. Yes. So those kind of things are something he has noticed. And he has told me how to correct those things in the home. These are questions you need to ask. Do you like fresh food? Or you like food that you can be warming every time? You can be warming. Microwaving. That's another thing. The next question is knowing your blood type, knowing your genotype. Are we compatible? Or are you kind of person that you marry because of love? At the same time, the wife you are married to is a sickle seller and you're going from one hospital to the other trying to care for these are things that can strain the marriage. If you're not mentally prepared for the person you are marrying, it can drain you down. Or do you have a history of any illness in your family? Do you have kidney problem? Do you have liver problem? Do you have any form of cancer in your family? These are questions you need to ask. And even if the partner did not ask, tell them that in my family, this is what we experience. This is what we have. This is what we see. This is what we, it has been a generational thing. So the person will be prepared that, okay, yes, I am getting into this kind of problem, if at all we enter into it. The next thing is, how do you guys want to communicate in the family? When I mean communicating, like talking to God, when growing up, everybody we see, They go to church together, they worship together in the house, pray together. It's different for different people. Some men don't like it, but women are the one that used to push it. If it's pray your own prayer, how are we going to do the prayer? How are we going to do the connection of God together? Ask that kind of question. The next one, who is taking the lead in the home? Because everybody feels like, yes, it's the man that's taking the lead. Let the man know that if he's the one taking the lead, it means you're going to take the lead in everything that has and concerns the home. That is to say, you are the one paying the house rent, you're the one paying the children's school fees, you're the one paying major bills in the house, providing the food for the family. Because come to think of it, it's you that come to propose to woman, right? So it's you that has to take the bills. Or are we going to be splitting bills? Because there are some relationship with some spouse that splits bills. So know your stand. Are we splitting bills? Yes or no? Or are you the one taking the lead and taking the full responsibility in the home? That's another one. There's another very important question that a lot of people suffer in their homes, and that has to do with after childbearing. When the men need to ask so many questions after childbearing. Look at the mother of the child, the wife you're married to. If she's on a plus size, or she has a tendency of becoming big, how is she going to do it? Will you be supporting her to go to the gym, exercising, or diet? What's going to be his take when you add? Because every time you're all on Ife Diary of a Niger Girl, I'll be right. Men complaining of how big, how their wives have stretch mark, how their wife have this. You people did not think of it before you do the do and marry yourself and born children. Are you okay with your wife being on the plus size after having kids? Because another thing again is it comes to do with let's not go into explanation. Know your stand in that kind of situation. If that is going to be something you are okay with and comfortable with, please at this point like and subscribe to my channel and use go big now. The next is, do you want to have children after getting married? Is an important question. It's an important question. Do you want to have kids after getting married? Sit down and think about it. The next one is, what is going to be your take when it comes to raising children? How are we going to discipline our children? Because I've seen situations whereby there was this family I know, the daughter is so um cranky, all these kind of kids that they don't beat, they don't spank. And when I asked why it's been like that, because the child is spoilt, obviously, the woman would tell me that the father doesn't like them to touch anybody to touch her child or his child. If you do, he's going to get angry at you. You will not in the house, you leave the house because you spank the daughter. And now the child is becoming spoiled. You see where this kind of situations are happening. So how do you want to train that child or your child? Are we spanking? Are we disciplining? Are we depriving them of something at that moment? What's your form of discipline when you have kids? That is another thing. Gang, this one's another important thing. Who are those that can live with you after you get married? It's an important question. Is it random friends? Is it family? Like, if family had to come, how long should they stay? Even though the wife gives birth, how long should the mother stay in the house, and how long should the mother-in-law stay in the house? Are you the kind of person that will be able to welcome a big and large family? These are questions you need to ask. Yes, you need to ask these questions. On how do we handle anger? Yes, between me and my husband, who is more angry? You discover. They know who is going to be the third party if things go south. Or if you know you have a safe word that can reset everything, have that safe word. Let us have that safe word. But if you know that you want to have a third party to have to complain to of any problem that is going on in your family, but note one thing, not every family member knows how to advise. Not every family member is good to know to hear your problem. Like they're worthy of hearing your problem. There are some family members that will hear what's happening to you and they will dwell on it. Even when you have made peace, they'll still keep on referring to that thing. So that's the kind of family member you want to mention your problems to. Or your pastor. Not be every pastor be a good pastor. There are some people after they will give advice and you know that you have problem in your family, then they'll go to the altar and mention your problem and tell the whole world. Then people will now start using their discernment to figure out who the person is. Yeah, it's not every person you see outside though that is good, that have your good intention. Not even your sister, not even your mother, not even your father. But there's some persons that are wise in discernment. People that will give you advice not based on their own opinion, but how it's going to favor both of you. That is your husband and yourself, or your wife or yourself. But if you start bringing their own opinion, run, run, oh, run. It's big no in marriage, when it comes to marriage, is how often do you beat? It shock you, Abby? It shock you. How often do you beat as a man? How often do you beat as a woman? Because sometimes you go and visit some couple, you enter their house, everywhere is smelling, everywhere is stinking. You walk with them, they are smelling. Then the man is smelling, or the woman is smelling. Because why? They don't even know how to take care of themselves. So no, if it's I don't used to bath or I don't used to clean my bum more, let me know so that if something we can work on, we work on. You understand? I don't wash my boxers, so I wear my boxers for 2 weeks. I don't wash my pants, so I keep my pants for 2 weeks before I wash it. All those kind of tiny, tiny things. You now come to stay with somebody who is very neat and clean, and you don't clean your bum, you don't wash your mouth. These are questions you need to ask. The next one is, how are we going to cope when it comes to long distance relationship? Because right now everybody in Nigeria is thinking of leaving the country. Not even everybody, let's say 80% of people are planning on leaving the country. So now, if one person leave, how are we going to cope? Even though you have children, how are you going to take care of the home? Things like that. What is going to happen? Who is going to go first? What's the plan? These are questions you need to ask. What investments are we going into? What business are we going into when we get married? These are questions and more you need to ask before getting married. They sound little, but they are heavy. The ngwongwo is heavy. Let me know in the comment section what you think about this. And if there's going to be a part two, I'm going to let you know.